vengeance in its eyes, vengeance in its eyes. All hope seems to die when he sees your eyes running through the night. Only takes him back, always out of sight, crowding through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? It is Sunday night, which means it can only be one thing. It is extra time. And that means that we're going to be looking back on the weekend's action and the weekend's news. But not only this week are we going to be doing that, thank goodness the summer transfer window has finally shut. We can stop all the stress. We can just focus on getting on with the rest of the season. So we are going to be asking everyone that comes on the show tonight their opinions on the transfer window. Are we stronger at the end of the window than when we went into it? And I want everyone to sort of rate the window. We have got a poll going on YouTube tonight for all of you guys doing. So if you click onto the YouTube version, if you're watching this on X or Facebook or the other thing, what's it called? The gaming thing. I can't think what it's called now. But if you're watching on any of those, if you switch on to YouTube, become a member, you can vote. And we're getting a vote on the transfer window, which basically can decide whether it's excellent, whether you're happy, whether you're not happy, or whether you're unsure about how the transfer window is going. And of course, this will also be able to be watched on catch up as well if you haven't seen it live, and it will be put out on the Always Wolves podcast as well. Now, before we get started and start to bring on my guests, I do want to, of course, say a big, massive thank you to Creation Wolf, who basically power Sunday night shows. They give a lot of help to us here at the channel. They deliver the industry's and latest, most advanced digital solutions. And if you've got a company, they'll take your brand, online presence, and digital capabilities, believe me, to the next level. You can find them on creationwolf.com. The link's in the description below. We'll also be talking this week about the big tournament of the year. Forget the Euros and the Premier League and everything else. It is the Content Creators Cup on Saturday at the Wolves training ground. You've got all your favourite content creators, all your favourite podcasts, including the Wolves media team and the Wolves Foundation. Well, pretty much all of them that are going to be taking part, a 10-team tournament, all in aid of the Wolves Foundation. And you can get tickets to go and watch that live. And we've only got a limited amount of tickets. We've already sold a third of them already, and the final week, like last year, they went like hotcakes. So you want to get your tickets for that because it's going to be really good, World Cup style. 2 groups, an A and a B group, 5 teams in each, 5 podcasts and creators in each one, then through to quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we are bringing on tonight. He is back with a vengeance. It is the one and only Howler with his human counterpart, Hoops. How you doing, mate?
Good evening from both of us. How are you?
I'm good, mate. And first of all, I do want to say, mate, a fantastic effort that you did recently. If you want to tell people a little bit about that, and then they can maybe go and support you as well. You did a walk all in aid of a charity very close to a lot of people's hearts, and that's Birmingham Children's Hospital, isn't it? Do you want to just tell people a little bit more about that?
Yeah, thanks, Dave, and thank you for your support. So quite poignant, really, to the heart. So I recently, with my brother-in-law, walked the Heart of England Way, which very briefly is a walk from just outside Cannock Chase to the Cotswolds. So it's 104 miles in total. We did it in 4 days, and really the context behind it and the story is my daughter, who you may have seen on the podcast for those watching and listening. She's got a heart condition called tetralogy of Fallot. She's doing really, really well. But now and again, we like to just do a little bit of a fundraise, just as a bit of a thank you. So with a heart condition, with the appropriately named walk, that was really the story behind it. So I'm doing good. It's nice to be sitting down. And yeah, so thanks for your support. Just have a look on Twitter, and we can always drop the link if you do want to support. But no trouble, because I know so many people do so many good things. We're just grateful. I think we're up to around 1,100, so just amazing. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, how can people find you on social media if they want to check out your link?
Yeah, so Rye Hoops 83. But I can always drop the details. So yeah, you should be able to find me on there, and on one of my pinned tweets, it'll have the link to the Just Giving site as well. So, but message yourself, Dave, if anybody does, and I'm sure we'll redirect them. So yeah, any support's great. It's an amazing cause, an amazing place, and it was quite the experience. Camping out and kind of doing it in the rough for a few days, but it was good fun, and yeah, it was just a little bit of saying thank you.
Well, I want to say well done, because like, you know, the Fox at Shipley, Neil, who runs the Fox at Shipley, who's like does support the channel, that his daughter also had a heart condition and does a lot of fundraising for the Birmingham Children's Hospital. In fact, whilst we're on that, I do want to give a little bit of a plug for this as well, because this week you can actually go and see and at the Mount Hotel on Thursday, on the 7th, that's this Thursday the 5th, there is an event going on there with talking to Steve Bull and Andy Thompson for charity. It is again raising money for the Birmingham Children's Hospital and the 1P36 Family Trust as well. Includes welcome drinks and dinner, followed by great entertainment with Steve and Andy, and hosted by Jason, who may be coming on hopefully soon. He's got to get his little one hopefully to sleep, and he might be joining us. But like, that's down at the Mount. There's a couple of telephone numbers on there if you want to get in touch with any of them to book tickets to go and join that evening with Steve Bull and Andy Thompson. The prices are on there, and again, they do such great work as well for the Birmingham Children's Hospital. And as I say, that one's also for the 1P36 Family Trust as well. So raises money for two causes. So listen, mate, all the work that people like you do and stuff for the Birmingham Children's Hospital help so many children. It's so important, mate. So I just wanted to say well done for what you did, and amazing for how much you've raised, mate. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the youngster himself, looking very suave and cool in his new Sudo trackie that he's got. Hi, Lucas. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, Dave. Are you?
Mate, yeah, not too bad at all, fella. And, you know, thank you for joining us tonight. It is always good to have the youth represented here on the channel. And, you know, I'll be really...
Are we not represented, Dave?
Well, we're a little bit past youth, aren't we? We're just on that other side, you know. So we've got Lucas this week to represent the Always Wolves youth team. And, yeah, mate, listen, you had a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been okay. Had football this morning, and it's been okay. Yeah.
How was training? All right.
Oh yeah, it was all right. A bit of a light session, just back ease, get our fitness levels back up, but it was good. Yeah.
Fantastic. And last but no means least, it is Sutty. I had the pleasure, Sutty, of bumping into you before the match yesterday in the sunshine over in Nottingham. You know, looking very cool as always, mate. How are you? Isn't it great? Like when we have, I mean, I know it's Forest and everything. Like there's all a little bit of banter and a little bit of edge to it, but I like going to Midland team or fellow Midland teams because I'm sick of going to London so many times. So it's nice to have a reasonably short journey, an hour and 15 minutes to Nottingham.
Yes, good evening, Dave, and everybody else. Yeah, Nottingham. little bit like Molineux, really, the city ground. Tired, old, four sides, bit of a shithole, but it's a proper shithole, Dave, and it's full of proper football supporters that make a proper noise. Bit like what Molineux can be like when we're playing half decent, but they were noisy yesterday. Fair play to them. They always give us a nice warm welcome. I don't think there's much love lost, but I enjoy going there because it's only an hour and a quarter there and an hour and a quarter back.
Do you know what? And I was quite glad that they stayed up, actually, because for that, I mean, there is kind of a little bit of edge more in the recent years because of the Morgan Gibbs White thing and stuff like that. And obviously Nuno's over there now, and we did do a rendition of Nuno is a Wolves fan, which was kind of nice. Before the game, Emma says, I'm looking forward to singing Nuno is a Wolves fan. And we did. And you know what? They're proper, they're a bit like, I was on a Forest fan channel before the game, and one of the things that we was saying is with both clubs are very similar in history, and they've won things in the past. They've hit the doldrums, gone right the way down, come back in the Premier League now after when you're not winning everything every week and you have a lot of pain. When you you get back into the top division and stuff like that, it somehow means more. You appreciate it more, I guess. And the Forest fans are still in that sort of that zone. And like when they play Wolves, they do give it. They're quite noisy. It's a good atmosphere. They sing that strange song, which has no relevance to Nottingham really. I think it started in a pub somewhere years ago and they've kept it on. Mulligan Tyre or whatever it is.
Dave, I think it all stems, apparently, it was Brian Clough's favourite song.
Is that what it was?
And I'm led to believe, I can't say that for certain, but I'm led to believe that is why they sing that loud. But my God, they do sing it loud, Dave. Fair play to them.
You know what? They absolutely do. And they absolutely give it, to be fair. And
better than any London club.
Well, yeah, and it was a good game. So look, we've got like nearly 400 watching across the channels tonight. If you do want to get involved in the chat on YouTube, just make sure you hit that subscribe button. You can join in the conversation, guys. If you want to let us know where you're watching from, make sure you do the vote on the transfer window. But before we get started, I've got 3 international fans files. Oops. So I do want to bring one of their videos in. We're going to start with this young man. So he's going to give his thoughts over in Norway.
This is Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway, speaking after the 1-1 draw at the City Ground. I think like a lot of people, I'd have taken a point today. After watching the game, I'd definitely take a point today. I think I would go as far really only as to say it's given us something to build on. I see a lot, but I see a lot of quality out there, especially in the first half. But I also saw a few things I didn't like. We did give the ball away a lot of times. I'm not convinced we're still doing enough in the opposition's penalty area. What I do think, my overriding emotion of watching Wolves at the moment is that it's going to take a few weeks to finally click into gear for this, and I think it will work out okay. But the signs I'm seeing, okay, I think this will work out. I think we can have a decent season. But we've had a tough start to the season in terms of fixtures, and people need to be a little bit patient, I think. I think people should bear that in mind. It's pretty much half a new team, isn't it? And it will take a bit of time. But I see enough to think that this is going to be okay. I want a special shout out. We've been poor defensively, but Dawson comes back. What a performance. A man's performance from a man's man. Nottingham Forest 1, Wolves 1.
Fantastic. Chris always says it like it is. So it's great to have him. So there's going to be a couple more international fan reactions that we will put through the tournament. Let's start off with you, Hoops and Howler. We're going to talk about the game first. We're going to get everything to do without that, and then we're going to talk about the transfer window and look on the votes. So Hoops, the game 1-1, Wolves Forest. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'd probably echo those sentiments. I think most of us will be pleased with a point. I think, it was referenced there, perhaps there being a bit of a platform. After the Chelsea game, it was important that we were a little bit more solid, which we were. Dawson was no coincidence to that because he was immense. He gave us that real sort of leadership. I think within that back line, Tossie and Mascara, they're still sort of a new partnership. Totti does concern me at times, and Mascara is still relatively new to the side, although obviously he's had loan spells away. So, and obviously we had Johnston coming as well. So we were pretty solid. We were pretty resolute. Forest have brought in a lot of new players in, some still to play, haven't been registered. So I think there will be a good side this season. So, yeah, particularly if you take the second half context where we were under the cosh. Yes, we started the game well. Nuri had a chance and we had some other half chances. A draw was the fair result. It's one game. It's 8 points. It's a point more than we had. So I think overall we can't really grumble with it. But the test will be, if we can maintain it. But yeah, Dawson was immense. Lamina as well. I've looked at some of his stats online. What he went through, and even when he was injured, that sort of recharged him and kind of got us through the line. So I've got to be honest, and I think I put this online, I don't think there was a lot of quality in the game. It was quite scrappy at times for me. But again, that's probably where we are, where Forest are. We're pretty similar, aren't we? So it wasn't probably the unexpected result. Most probably would have looked at a point. So overall, I think you've got to be happy with it.
Absolutely. Great start to the show, mate. Thank you for that. Lucas, do you want to pick up on what Hoops and Howler have had to say and had your own observations?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a big stepping stone for us burning the cup to get that morale high in the squad before Forest. It's a tough place to go. As you said, it's a loud stadium to go to. It's be intimidating for some players that have never played in the Premier League before and not expecting how loud Forest fans are. So it's a bit of a stepping stone. I'm happy how we played in the first half. It was a bit shaky in the second. And I think we just have to ease into it. Gary's now put in this new way he wants to play. So we just have to adapt to that because Wolves are so used to be playing a 3 or 5 back. We just have to get time and adapt to how he wants to play.
Absolutely. And, I initially thought when I saw the squad come out and it was going to be like a 5, but it was more of a hybrid really throughout the game. It was more of a 4 and a 4 out of possession and a kind of 5 without possession. Sooty, you were obviously before the game. Where were you situated in the away end? Because we were like on row B, quite right behind the goal. So we got quite a flat look at it. Were you more high up?
Halfway up, Dave.
Halfway up. So you'd probably see a little bit more of the patterns of play because we were like seeing, a bit lower down. What's your thoughts on Hoops and Lucas's thoughts, and what were your takeaways from yesterday?
Well, likewise with you, Dave, when I saw you before the game and the team had been announced, I fully expected Dawson, Mosquera and Totti across the back line with Nori on the left and Semedo on the right as their normal wing backs. And at that point, I thought we will win this game. Quite simple, we'll win it. But we definitely didn't play a hybrid of any description, Dave. We played 4 at the back with Nori on the left wing. And they absolutely battered that left wing.
He did drop back when we were like out of possession into that sort of 5, but he was up the field a lot. It's initially you see them 3 central defenders, you think, oh yeah, it's going to be a back 5, but it actually wasn't, was it really? Most of the time,
when you stood watching it from where I watched it, Dave, he didn't come back very often, and that was a back 4. and that is really, really worrying for me from a manager. And I don't want him sacked, by the way. He's done a great job for us, but it worries me when he says he now has to make things work and find different solutions to stop us leaking goals at will. Well, he didn't do that on Saturday, because we made Nottingham Forest look amazing at times. We did have some good parts in the game, but if this is the level that we're at, then unfortunately we ain't going to get very far, Dave. We've got to play to our strengths, and our strengths in our wing backs that at pace convert to wingers, and we play with width, and we break fast. It just doesn't happen like that, because what happens at the moment is full backs come wing backs get pulled and dragged all over the place. Your two centre backs then get pulled across for cover, and the likes of Mr. Gibbs White get free channels straight down through the middle of the pitch, and it's not working. And we will lose far more than we win with this system, Dave. And he's got to learn very fast that being stubborn is not going to keep him his job.
Well, I mean, I'll come back to you on that actually, because like you probably watched my a report on the press conference. I watch with interest and try and report that back and get a sense. I think Gary is very. There's an underlying frustration that I feel coming from him on the last press conference. One of the things that he said was. He said we expected one type of transfer window and it's not come to pass. But he said that like him and Hobbs right after Anfield mapped out how they were going to play this year. In other words, this back four formation, and that they expected that they would be getting the players in to be able to play that system. So obviously that's where he's gone along. He's gone on that track. And then he said for various reasons, one being they were too late to get some of the players, two, the financials didn't stack up to get the players. They didn't get all the players in that they planned to get in, and it kind of moved and evolved during the transfer window. Now, obviously there was this figure of 20 million that was bandied about that we got to spend. Well, at the end of the day, we spent more than 20 million. We spent 21 million on Andre. We spent 10 million pounds on Johnson. We spent a little bit more on that French kid as well. So, we spent more, but and we're going to come on to the transfer window a bit. The central defence, and the defence is probably the area where he was kind of referring to. I think the Andre thing was probably one that it was more opportunist, because he is a good player and a really good value, and there's a good sell on when we eventually sell him. So look, I thought it was going to be a back five. I think like all of us, we're going to a back five. But I do think that Gary is very set on this back four system. And I know what you're saying about him being stubborn. And he said, we've got to try and make the system work and make adjustments. And I think that's probably what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. He's now going to take stock from the first three games, look at it, and then we're going to see what happens when we face Newcastle and the system that he plays there. Maybe he'll change to a back five, or maybe they'll have had more training with the players that he's now definitely got in the building to work on this back four. And I guess we're going to find out. But I do understand where you're coming from, because Forest were definitely targeting our left-hand side in that first half. I mean, it was like a basketball game, the first 20 minutes. The goal that we conceded, Hoops, do you want to talk us through the two goals now?
I mean, the goal we conceded, it was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? Anderson put over a good corner, who was excellent in midfield actually for them yesterday. And then you can kind of take a view on Johnston in terms of, perhaps it appeared as if he kind of made an attempt, preempted a challenge or a block. So it looks not great on second viewing. I don't know. You know, in terms of being sort of too critical on Johnson, but it was a pretty straightforward goal. But obviously the response was everything. And Bellegarde's got that in his locker, hasn't he? You know, we saw, I think back, you know, he had sort of a crazy debut when he got sent off, but he's got that ability to score outside of the box. He's a little bit in and out, Bellegarde is for me, but that's another point. So yeah, we responded in the best way. The goal could have been avoided. It's set piece. It's pretty basic, isn't it? And it's our nemesis again, Chris Wood, who scored and other than you know, referencing their goals conceded from corners, you know, other than the offside decision, then yeah, we could have been caught out again. So I'm still a little bit uncomfortable about the back line, and I still feel that we're a little bit too easy to score against at the moment.
Okay, Lucas. I'm getting. I don't think you were there. You'd have probably been watching it on the TV. What, you know, from watching those two goals, both of the first one and the second one, what's your takeouts from that?
I think Totti for the first one just got caught sleeping. He lost Chris Wood, sorry, and he just beat into the header. He tried, but he jumped too late. In the box, you've got to be ready to jump at all times. Even if you think the ball's going way over, you've still got to jump just in case. Bellegarde, we saw it against Sheffield United last season, where he hit the wonder strike. It's the same goal. As Poop said, he's got it in his locker. He just needs that. He just needs that pass, and then he needs a space, and he can just rifle it in. But I saw that's the first goal Wolves have scored outside the box since the season Ruben Neves left
in the league.
Yeah, in the league. So it's something Wolves is probably weak spot now. Neves has left, but I think if we give Bellegarde the ball in space, he can do it probably once or twice a month. So I think we just need to support it. And for their offside goal, it was, from what I saw, it was a bit. I don't know what happened. It was just a bit scrappy. But
it was bobbling about that one. I couldn't get rid of it, and he was offside.
Yeah,
so it was the right decision.
Yeah.
Sutty, the first goal, 12th, I think it was the 11th minute. Obviously, Sam Johnson's in goal. We're going to talk about Johnson and Sarr when we get onto the transfer bit. It seemed to happen in slow motion to me, that first goal. It seemed to just like, I was surprised he didn't save it, but there was someone in front of him, and they did complain about it. But like, you know, Chris Woods, we know what a danger man he is. He always seems to score against us. I think Lucas hit the nail on the head. Totti Gomez it was his job to deal with that. He didn't deal with it, did he? And then Chris Wood, you hit it across goal, and there's always a chance there's a tap in or it goes in, and it went in. What was your take on that? Because someone's made the point, we've conceded another goal from a set piece, and we were so good at defending set pieces last year.
Fell asleep, Dave, I'm afraid, again. Totti Gomez is ball watching, and Chris Wood has just peeled off, and nobody is within 4 yards of him. And to be honest, it was a pretty shit header, but it went through so many.
It was like slow motion, wasn't it?
But I think if you watch it, people say, "Oh, Johnson should have got that." He would have got it, but it's took the slightest little touch on the way through, and it's made it loop up over the top of him. Poor Dave, really, really poor zonal marking. Yeah, there is a place for it, but when you know that is their main threat, why don't you put one of your big guns
a man on him?
Yeah, just say stick any corner, stick on him. You know what he's going to do.
They did a great job of that with Haaland last year, if you remember, against City.
So why haven't they done that? Why haven't they done that? Now, that comes down to a set-piece coach. I don't know the name of our set-piece coach, but he ain't having a very good
Mike Allen's referencing now, haven't we got a set-piece specialist?
Yeah, well, we have, and he ain't had a very good start to the season, let's be fair, Dave, because our defending up to now is abysmal. But again, you've got to go back to set up an organisation. We've not had an organiser in a back line, Dave, since Connor Cody. Now, when Cody played at Wolves and the place was deafening, absolutely deafening week out, you could still hear Connor Cody. We ain't got that. We ain't got any of that now. He might not have been the quickest bloke in the world, but he was an organiser of men in a back line. He knew his job. He knew what to do. You'd always hear him screaming at people, you come in here, you get out there, do your jobs. Everybody does their jobs. And if you didn't, he would bollock you like you would never know. We haven't had that since he left, Dave, and we've never replaced that. Kilman was as quiet as a dormouse. He's a leader. Dawson's a great player. You don't hear him like Cody, though. And until you've got an organiser of a back line that will drag people around, you'll keep consistently having these problems, Dave. People have got to do their own individual jobs here, Dave, haven't they? And I think there's too many looking at others at times saying you can do that.
Well, I absolutely agree. And, you know, I mean, it was frustrating that we keep conceding these early goals. I think we've conceded first in away games, I don't know, a lot. We keep conceding. And then, of course, you've got an uphill battle all the time, which would be nice for us to score 2 or 3 and get a lead. And again, it was it was a good reaction, wasn't it? Bellegarde, interestingly enough, he was getting absolute pelters because he picked up that yellow card on about 8 or 9 minutes. He's like, oh, he's terrible, this, that, and the other. And then he literally hits an absolute diamond of a shot. It sort of went like, it sort of curved in. It came out of nothing, didn't it, really, just after their goal. What a great strike that is. And we've kind of seen a little bit of what Bellegarde can do. Yeah,
Bellegarde, I mean, I'm still not convinced, but when Hwang first come, I wasn't convinced about him, Dave, and then he went and got 12 goals last season. So it's about giving him a bit of time. I'm not sure there's the hunger in some of these players, Dave, as what we had when we first come up. I'm not so sure there's that like unity in this side where they are as one. Seems to be a lot of individuals in our team where we can sort of pass the buck. And I'll tell you what else I've noticed, Dave, in the first 3 games is a head coach that is far more aggressive and animated on the sideline. He wasn't like that last season. He would give instructions last season, but he always had a smile on his face. He's not a happy bunny at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's that underlying frustration.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, so on the game as a whole, I thought, I see everything. I thought, like, we went behind, disappointed. I thought we responded really well. And then it was kind of like a basketball game. It was like another crazy game. It was like end to end. I thought in the second half, it got a lot more scrappy. I thought we probably shaded the first half. I thought they probably shaded the second half. Obviously, they got the goal. Saying that, we did have a spell in the second half where we nearly scored. It was, a couple of shots in, and then that shot that just went across the post, and I thought it was going to go in. And then there was a really good effort, I thought, from Tommy Doyle when he come on. I thought he was great again when he came on. He's always so positive, looking for fun. It was a great layoff, and the technique that he had to hit that ball, had that not hit that guy's head, whoever was that got their head in the way, the keeper would not have moved. It was going at some pace. The keeper would have gone past him. But he can half hit him, Tommy Doyle. I love him. I love the way he's always so positive. He's always looking for the pass, and he'll have a go. And I thought we were having shots, which is better than before, than last year. And then on the penalty, there was a penalty call, wasn't there? Hoops, what was your take of that penalty shout?
Well, there was 2, wasn't there? So, I mean, I don't know which one to reference, but I'll quickly cover them both, because there was the one which they were appealing for, which Larson was in the box and did come off his arm, but it was judged, I think, fairly as not a penalty. And then I think we obviously had a similar one as well. So I think direction they're getting, aren't they, the refs, is to kind of, I don't know, but what I understand is the interpretation of handball is potentially a little bit more lenient. You know, we saw, to our detriment last year, many, handballs given where, the player had very little choice or movement towards the ball. So perhaps less will be given. I know Gary O'Neill was quite frustrated with ours that he thought we should have had. And I get, but actually, if I'm being balanced and reasoned, you could make a case for Larson as well. I don't personally feel either of the penalties, and I don't think those should be given. I think a handball should be if you're affecting play, and it's a genuine movement. If there's distance involved and it just strikes off them, then I don't actually think they should be given.
Absolutely. And guys, if you do want to get involved in the chat tonight, this is a phone-in show. So you can come on and make your point. The link is in the description below this video that you can click. But I've just put it on the screen there for you. So if there's any of you that do want to come on and make a point, just dial in. We'll get you in the green room, and you can come on shortly. Lucas, from your point of view, you'd probably seen all the replays live because you're watching it on the telly. What's your take on the penalties? Same opinion, or do you think it was because like we were screaming for it, Gary O'Neill was screaming for it, the players were screaming for it, it wasn't given? It didn't look like it was. The review went over pretty quickly. How were they putting it across? What were they saying on the TV live?
The point that they was trying to get across that it was just how they jumped. There was both in the air, so then they just couldn't control the arms when they was in the air. So the new rule for handballs is if the hand is jumping up and it's in an actual position, that is fine. And the arms were both in natural positions.
Okay, so that's, that was really good. You could be our like Dermot Gallagher to explain that, on Ref Watch or whatever it is. Sutty, you saw it live like me. Your instinct straight away a penalty, or was it like, not sure?
No, that's not a penalty, Dave.
No.
Lad was jumping in with Dawson at the same time. They've both gone for the ball, and his arm was stretched out behind him. He wasn't even looking at it.
He wasn't looking.
No,
some people are trying to say he did that, but why would he do that? Because you're going to get caught.
No, it wasn't a penalty, Dave. I wouldn't want that given against us for certain, although quite possibly it will be at some point this year. But I wouldn't want it given against us. And neither was there as a penalty either. Woods went down like he'd been shot. He never touched him. So both.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. That was that just after our goal, or was that the one in the second? Yeah. Because we were celebrating, and then we all went quiet for a second. That was the And if you watch if any of you guys watch my match highlight vlog, which is up on the channel, I'm actually reacting to the goal, talking it through, and at that moment that bit happens, and you can see everyone in the crowd, including me, go, and then we carry on celebrating. So that's really good. Obviously Gary wanted it. He didn't want to comment on it afterwards. Look, to be honest, it was great, really. All the games that this season, there's not been that many VAR interruptions, to be fair. The game's flowed a lot more. You've been less of the screen. So as long as it's consistent, it's when it's not consistent that you have the issue, isn't it? It's like, well, if like the Woods one the one on Strand had been given against us, and then we hadn't got that one, we would be having something to say, but kind of both sort of weren't given. So, and Lucas explained it really eloquently as well. So I'm going to bring on another international fan, and then we're going to talk about we're going to give our man of the matches and stuff and then we're going to get on to the transfer window. So let's see who we've got to bring on this time. We have got...
Hey Dave, Noe here from Monterey, California. So it ends Forest 1, Wolves 1 at the City Ground. Our, annual draw away at Forest. Look, I mean, all things considered, I would say pretty decent performance, especially at the back. Much improved. Much improved. I think some of that is pushing it Nuri higher and pushing Tati out wide. who I think just had a, decent enough game. I think from time to time he was still a little higher up the pitch than I wanted, relatively speaking, but Dawson coming in was huge, I think, and he's got to start for me from here on out. However many games you're going to get out of him, I don't know, but he was absolutely massive, I think, today. Johnstone also coming into the side, his first start, probably had like one training session with the lads, and he impressed a lot, distribution wise, so much better than Saw, and he made a few key stops. The first goal we conceded, is there an argument that Johnstone could do better? I don't think so, to be honest. It's a free header at the back post, of course, so marking has to be better, but also it's taken a slight deflection off Yerson, and then it's also gone through Alanga's legs as well. So it's gone through bodies. It makes them hesitate just a little bit, and I think even top keepers in the world are going to struggle with that. And then John Rickner, what a strike. He kind of faded after the goal, but hey, I'm not complaining. It's the first goal Wolves have scored outside the box in a very long time. Not sure the exact, at least in the Premier League, because of course Tommy Doyle scored a goal from outside the box last season in the FA Cup. I think overall, Larson had a decent match. He made good runs off the ball. He had good hold-up play. Cunha, little selfish at times, I thought, but still his, Cunha self running with the ball, absolutely incredible. I think Joao Gomez had a bit of an off match, but I think man of the match for me has to be Mario Lemina. He was all over the place again, and there's just a lot of courage to get back up after what looked like a nasty knee injury. Also good to see Andre get his debut as well. So, anyways, good that we're off the Schneid, of course, and let's enjoy this international break, because I think the lads need it as well. And then it's Newcastle on the 15th after the break as well. So, anyways, take care, everyone. Always Wolves.
There you go from the USA. Always makes some good points, that young man, as well. So yeah, let's talk about the performances, Hoops. You're going to give your Lee Mormindo's man of the match to, who you're going to give your Fox at Shipley performance rating to, and your Parkside Dental moment that made you smile. Let's cover off all of that, and if you want to single out any individuals on the way, you might want to talk about Sam Johnson's debut as well.
I'll pick up that latest point as well on Sam Johnson. I think it's got to be mentioned because, look, it's clear that's his number one. The word will go out to say Jose Sarr, if he's still around, will compete for the spot. But ultimately, if they brought in a keeper who's worked with our current goalkeeping coach, wants to play a little bit differently in terms of distribution, which I know Johnson is highlighted for, then that's the way forward. I actually, and people might disagree with me, I quite like Jose Sarr. I think his concentration can be off and he can have the odd rig, but I don't think he's a bad keeper. However, I think they're going in the direction of Johnson. So that being the case, picking up the points on that last video, we kind of protect him on the goal. He made some other good saves, particularly late on in the game. And distribution for a goalkeeper is absolutely key now. We've seen that, the change at Man City going back, and also, with Arsenal and Ray and Ramsdale, keepers are very much picked now for the way in which the team wants to play. So he's the guy going forward. I've spoken to a few people about him, like Albion fans, for example, who say not the best at crosses, but he's a very good shot stopper. But we'll see. So if he's the number one man, we've got to back him. So a steady debut, I would say. And going on to kind of the other summarised points, if you're looking for a man of the match, it's a toss-up for me between Dawson and Lemina. Both were very good in similar ways in terms of last line of defence and really digging in when the game needed it. Overall, I'm going to go for Dawson. Moment of the match is the goal. You're downhearted when we've seen us concede, but Bellegarde, that flash and that goal was fantastic. And other notable, I think, mentions are the likes of Tommy Doyle, who again, very often does he let you down, and he's been unfortunate in his time with us that he's had Lemina and Gomez in front of him. Gomez, I agree on the international fan, had a little bit of an off game. So it'd be interested to see if he retains his place with Andre and even Tommy Doyle going forward. But as an overall performance, then and finally, 7 out of 10.
Fantastic, well summed up, Lucas. Same to you. You know, let's talk. Obviously, talk about Sam Johnston, but also if you've got any thoughts on what's happening with Sarr, which I think is quite important because he literally wasn't in the squad yesterday. You know, but Gary said that he's just left him out for that day. He's expecting to back over the international break. There's also a lot of speculation he's going to Saudi, and of course, your man of the match performance rating and moment of the day.
I think Sam Johnston's a good addition. If Jose does play, he's going to be pushing Jose to fight for that number 1 spot. Because yesterday it didn't look like Sam Johnston's debut at all. It looked like his 50th game. Sorry, the way he was commanding everything, the way he was setting up the wall for free kicks, the way he's demanding the box in the corners, and the save he did for Gibbs White's free kick was perfect. He did some big saves as well. He's a bit more confident than Jose with his kicking, which is good. I remember one kick he did straight to Cunha on the halfway line. But if Cunha just took it past the defender, I think it could have been a big threat. And I think it's going to be a big addition to the goalkeeping squad. Even if Jose doesn't stay, he can still push on Tom King and Dan Bentley for cup games or whatever. So he's going to be a big addition. I think for man of the match, it's got to be Dawson. The way he's coming to the squad after a great performance against Burnley. It's hard to go into a formation that you haven't played properly all season because he's missed the first 2 games. He started Burnley, of course, but first 90 minutes he started to play his use yesterday. So it was hard to him probably just to get ready and play. So I'd give it to Dawson. The man of the moment of the day was probably Bellegarde's strike. It brought a massive smile to my face because I thought, right, here we go. Now it's time to score some goals. Now we're off the mark. Here's our first point. There we go. And I think performance rating, I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5. Sooty, the floor is yours.
I have a quick thing to say, Dave, on this this word hybrid. Hybrid to me screams of not really knowing what you're doing. I'm one of these probably old-fashioned people, Dave, that I believe you look at your squad and you put round pegs into round holes and stop fanning around trying to put your flair players in positions they shouldn't be in. Why? I'm no football expert, by the way, Dave. Gary O'Neill is. That's why he's just signed a 4-year contract for about 80 grand a week. So why I can see it is glaringly obvious that we should be playing a 3-4-3 or a 5-3-2 with the players we've got. If we bought new centre halves and new fullbacks, not a problem. But why we are playing this thing called a hybrid, it's a bit of a get out clause for me. It's a bit like people saying we've signed Andre to shield the back 4. If you're playing a back 4, you shouldn't be. It's meant to give you another forward player, not have someone drop in to shield a poor back 4.
There might be a case.
That's a waste of 21 million quid for me. So
yeah, there might be a case in regards to that allows Lamina and Joe Gomez to be more forward, or Tommy Doyle to have less defensive responsibility. So, it can be an attacking move.
But we have got to start playing to our strengths, Dave. Look, if you look at our squad now, overall, it is better than last season. We're not calling up 15-year-old kids on a Friday afternoon at the maths lesson to get on a coach and go to London, are we? With a private tutor to finish off their school lessons en route. We haven't got to do that this year. So overall, it is better. But the problem we have here is, Dave, It seems to me, and I said I'd give a judgment after 10 games, and I'll stick to that judgment, because if he carries on like this, Dave, I won't have to give a judgment because he will be sacked. You must play your best players in their best positions. And if he's digging his heels in because he hasn't been given a centre half, he's still got 3 good centre halves that can play in a 3-4-3 or a 5-3-2. And we will win more games than we lose in that formation. It's not rocket science, is it? Let's be honest. But as I say, his demeanour shows of a man that's under immense pressure at the moment. I don't want to see the bloke sacked. I think he's done a great job for us, but he is under pressure. His head is getting shot on the side of a football pitch at the moment. And let's be honest, if he carries on playing this back 4 system, i.e. Dawson's fantastic in a 3 or a 5, but we played Nottingham Forest yesterday. Nottingham Forest will be in the bottom 7 teams. If you look at our squad on paper, if we play the right formation, I think we're a top 8 side. But if we consistently play this, we'll be a bottom 6 side. It's simple. I don't think we'll go down, but we'll be in the bottom 6, and we'll all be whinging then. And I don't think that he would see the season out. Just wanted to say that anyway.
No, that's a good point, mate. Well made.
I'm going to go for Lamina as man of the match. He's an absolute tank, this bloke. And he is a great captain, and he leads by example. Gets stuck in. I thought we'd lost him for a few weeks when he went down, but he's my man of the match. Brilliant player. One of the best 9 million quids we've spent in a very, very long time. Performance rating, I can't give it any more than a 6, Dave. For me, you only go above a 7 if you win. Anything below that is a draw or a loss. And moment of the day, is that what you wanted? Moment of day was seeing some very friendly faces stood outside before the game, having a good catch up in the sun. And like I say, I like going to Forest. It's proper ground, proper working class support. They sing their hearts out. It's as noisy as anywhere in that league, and I would rather go there than to any ground in London any day of the week.
Well said. Can I just ask you your thoughts on Sam Johnson on his debut?
Sam Johnson, he made me feel very confident, Dave, to be honest. Distribution was absolutely superb. I think he was a little bit unlucky with the goal. Like I said to you before we come on air, it went through a melee of people, and it took the slightest little touch as it come up off the ground.
I think Noah mentioned that as well.
Yeah,
then
it just took the slightest little touch, and he would have, if Aaron took that slightest little touch, he'd have saved that. But I think overall,
as he froze.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think overall, he did really well. And David Smith on the comments there, I didn't say we'd go down. I said if we carry on playing a 4, we'd go down.
Well spotted. The other thing that I do want to say on that as well, and I think the producer pointed this out. Sam Johnson was very vocal at the back.
Yeah,
talking to the defence constantly. He was like really talking, and I thought he showed some good leadership. I felt quite calm with him on the ball. His distribution. He made one really good save off Morgan's free kick, which was going top bin. He turned it away, and then he made a great save off that header at the other end as well. So he for a debut, it was a solid debut. Now we have got people phoning in. So as I say, if you do want to come on and have your quick say, come on the screen. There's the link. The link's in the description. We've got Scott that's phoned in. So I'm going to put him on the stage now. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Dave, and how are you doing?
Yeah, quick. You've got like 2 or 3 minutes to make any points that you want to make and discuss.
Okay, right. Well, I do have it written down for this one. I think for the special. So first, I want to point out that I'm very impressed by Sam Johnson. Even though it was his debut, I wouldn't know if he would be able to make the squad in time because it's only his first day. But very impressed by him. I think he should be the new starting one instead of Sarr. I think Sarr's had his day. We could get about 10 to 15 million of what's saying from Saudi, so I wouldn't mind that quick cashing, to be fair.
What's your other point, Scott?
My other point is that the performance itself, I was very impressed first half. Obviously, it wasn't the best attempt from Forest themselves. They got lucky with that header, in my opinion. And then after we scored, I felt like we just sat back a bit and we didn't really like trying as hard.
Okay, your internet connection is a little bit rocky there, mate. Any other points that you'd like to make, Scott?
Yeah, very impressed with Andre. I know he didn't get much game time, but I have watched some of his highlights from his old club in Brazil, and he was very good.
When he came on,
yeah,
fantastic. And who was your man of the match and your performance rating?
My man of the match personally was Mario Lemina. After that injury, I thought after that injury that he would be a bit down and missing for a few matches, but the fact that he still continued to go on after he got that injury, I was impressed by that, to be fair. Because I thought.
And your performance rating?
I'll keep it a solid 7 out of 10.
Fantastic. Thanks for phoning in, Scott. Much appreciated.
No problem.
So that was Scott there ringing in. And don't say, if you do want to come on and have your quick say, the link's in the description. Anyone's welcome. Ring through and we'll get you on the screen. Right, I'm going to mix this up a little bit now. We have been having the votes, the latest votes that I've got, which was sent. I don't know if I've got an update yet. She's sending me an update right now on the votes that we've got in the link in the description on YouTube. So you need to log on to the YouTube votes and vote for the transfer window. We've got 12% of you that are voting for excellent transfer window. We've got 50% that are voting for happy with the transfer window. 19% of you are not happy, and 20% of you are currently unsure. And we've had 232 votes so far. So if you're watching on any of the other platforms, quickly jump onto YouTube and put your vote, and then we'll update that. So we're going to mix it up first of all. I'm going to go with. I'll go with you first, Lucas. We'll go Lucas Sutty Hoops. We'll do it in that order. How are you feeling now that the transfer window has closed? What would you rate the transfer window out of 10? How do you see the squad? Do you think we're stronger or not? Anything that's missing for you?
I think I'd have to give it a 5 out of 10. It's not the best. It's not the worst. We still have a few positions to improve.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've improved the goalkeeper to encourage Jose. We just need a centre back and a left back, in my opinion. We was linked with Trevor Chalobah, but he's gone elsewhere. So
where's he gone?
I think he's gone to Ipswich. I'm sure.
Might be Palace.
Yeah, Palace. That's what. Yeah, Palace.
Yeah, that would have been a good signing for us. Him. He's a good centre back.
And we just need to cover for left back because I don't think Totti can do it. And if Brian wants to keep pushing higher, we're going to have to get cover for that left hand side because teams are just going to know that we're weak on that one hand side and it's going to target us straight away. And I think we're a bit stronger, but if we sees fit. So a centre back, need a centre back or a left back. We can go in January and try and buy one.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think Sar's going?
I'm not sure. I've only heard that what Gary said in his press conference, that he's gone on international break. That's all I've heard about it, really.
Interesting. Okay, because like for me, I was just thinking it's a bit of an odd one. We've brought a new keeper in, and then Sar's gone AWOL out the squad. It's like, has he thrown a paddy because he's got competition? Is that why he wasn't happy because he's now not guaranteed to be number one? Well, you know, Sar to me is a very, very good keeper. He was player of the year 3 seasons ago. He's a great shot stopper. You know, he works hard with what he does. His distribution, I think, has been his weak link, especially the way we're trying to play. But like the fact that Sam Johnston's come in and then Sar's not even in the match day squad, you immediately think, don't you? Well, they're off. But then when, like you say, when you hear Gary O'Neill talking at the end and Matt Hobbs, when Johnston come in, it's all about competition for places. Jose Sar really should be welcoming the competition. He needs to be pushed harder. So I don't know why he's not in. I mean, what's your take on that, Sutty? And what's your take on the transfer window and your rating?
Well, transfer window first, Dave. I'll keep going back to this. If we're playing a back four, it ain't much more than a 3.
Okay.
It's an awful window. Shocking. Because if you're playing a back four, guess what? You ain't got a back four. It's awful. So, but if you're playing a 5 or 3-4-3, 5-3-2, this window is actually a 7.5. It's very good.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to systems, Dave. If he is adamant he's going to play a 4, then for me, he's a fool because he hasn't got the personnel to do it. But in a 5, he's got a very good squad with no excuses whatsoever to not finish in the top 10. That squad, in the right system, is a top 10 squad. If he consistently tries to play this squad in a 4 or this hybrid, as we like to call it, we're in trouble, Dave. You know, we'll pick up the odd win here and there, but we need to play to our strengths. And I don't think we are. I mean, take yesterday, for instance, Sam Johnson, a great signing. You can't play football these days, Dave, in this game. It's a completely different game thanks to Pep. Footballers, goalkeepers, have to, every position from the goalkeeper to centre forward has to be good with the ball at feet. If your goalkeeper is a fantastic shot stopper but cannot distribute the ball very well, it's 10 against 11 from the off. You're bang in trouble. So I've not got a problem with Sar going. Thank you very much. You have been very good for us. You've dropped a few clangers, but everybody drops a clanger at times, Dave. But if we can get a few quid for him, I'd sell him. Sam Johnson is a better overall keeper for me. England's number 3 replaces Portugal's number 3, and I'm afraid England's number 3 is better overall. So there you go. I haven't got a problem with that. But yesterday, I think if we'd have started with Johnson in goal, Mosquera, Santi Bueno, Dawson, Aitnori on the left, Semedo on the right, Lamina Gomez in the centre, Rodrigo Gomez, Cunha and Larson, I think we win the game, Dave.
Yeah.
I really do think we win that game.
Going back to a back 5, there's an argument that it's a better squad than what Nuno had.
Well, it's a good squad, Dave. You know, it's a very good squad in a 5. But like I say, it's all down to the system we play. We can't play a 4. We're going to be in trouble. If we carry on playing a 4, I really do worry for the bloke. I did say last week, you know, we shouldn't take the end of last season into account because the squad depth was awful, was shocking. So I don't actually blame him for that. I blame our illustrious chairman for that. not backing him in a January transfer window. So I'm not going to buy. But there's not many managers last 10 or 12 games with only one win and a draw on the scorecard. It just doesn't happen nowadays. So I really worry for him. Although I do believe he deserves a chance to turn it around. But when he said last week, it's up to me to make things work in a system that will work. We've got a ready-made system that works, Dave, and it ain't that hybrid one.
No, absolutely, mate. I think you make some really, really good points, and I think this is going to be the tale of the season, isn't it? This year, the formation, the defense. I do think we were the last 2 or 3 seasons. We've been like, oh, we need the number 9. We need the number 9. That's the missing piece of the jigsaw. And now all of a sudden it seems to be a left back. And another central defender. Yerson Mosquera, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I think he's a really good defender. I think he's going to be really good for us. I really rate him. Totti, I think he's still learning and he's making mistakes. But if you make mistakes in the Premier League, you get punished. And the left back situation, it's like, I know Hugo Bueno's gone out to get more experience, but he was a left back, and it seems really odd decision that he's gone out. And I think these are the defining questions that are going to define our season. The back four, the back five. Gary O'Neill might persist with this back four system and prove everybody wrong, and we start playing brilliant and picking up results, and it works, and everyone will put their hands up in the air and go, do you know what? What do I know? I'm not paid 80,000 a week, and I don't watch these players every day in training. And I've not got my UA for whatever coaching. That's what he's paid to do. Everyone's armchair managers and stuff like that. But like as fans, you see it, don't you? Because you're invested in your team. You know all the players, and we've been here before and after all of them, and you kind of like look at it and you go, yeah. So I think you've put it really, really well that you're concerned. You're not panicking or ranting or raving about it. You're just concerned because I think you do like Gary O'Neill. I think he's a good bloke, and you feel like he might be just playing, unfortunately, a game which is a bit of Russian roulette. He's taking a gamble on that it will make it work. And I think, like we say, time will tell. We have got another caller that's just come through on the line, so we'll be getting them on in a minute. Hoops, what's your take and rating?
Yeah, I would say 7.5. I take the points entirely about system. That's what you reference. I mean, for me, he's been backed. If you look at it, I was just making a note. These are all, the players that, excluding some of the academy signings, which we won't take into account, but Andre, Rodrigo, Forbes to come in, Johnston. You could include Tommy Doyle if you wanted to permanently. Larson, Lima. There's 7 players there. That,
and then on top of that, you've got Yerson Mosquera, who's come back off loan, and Conchalo Guedes. That's 9 players. Yeah,
and we'll exclude Podence because obviously we expect him to go. But in essence, as we referenced, we had a dismal end to the season, but context is king. And to Sutty's earlier point, we had kids on the bench and so forth. So there were circumstances. This time round, genuinely, I don't think there's many excuses because there's real strength there. I mean, we were in a position yesterday that we didn't see starts for Sarabia, Rodrigo Gomez. I know Forbes wasn't registered in time, but he will be. So he will be available, as would Andre. And that's just in one, position, and taking up one of the midfield positions. So yeah, for me, I would perhaps say maybe another centre half. I know they signed the lad from Nantes, but he may be one for the future. And arguably, if I was being really greedy, more of a like-for-like replacement for Larson should he lose form or injury. But we do have enough forward players. We have enough midfield players. We've strengthened in most areas of the pitch. I accept the point with left back, but I think we could manage with that. And Hugo Bueno might be looking for the long term, depending on Nouri, whether or not we decide to cash in. And just finally, outgoings, Kilman and Neto, good players, but I think for me, I'm comfortable with that. We haven't lost Nouri, we haven't lost Gomez, so the nucleus of the side is there.
Orkuna as well as another one.
Orkuna as well. So to me, it's a strong squad. So, 7.5. I think he has the tools to do within the squad, but it's how he utilises his tools. Because for me, he has been given a decent squad to compete.
I think you make a really good point, because I'm kind of like on that sort of 7.5. I think. And we're going to get to our next caller on in a minute. We'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. The Bastion, or what Sebastian, whatever his name is, the French lad, who's a young lad who's coming. He's a central defender. He's a central defender. He can play on the left as well, apparently. And he's only young. He's 18. He's another one. But we've got someone coming on in a minute that'll probably be able to tell us a little bit more about that player who's watched him a lot. So I was a bit disappointed about Chiquino going out, because I did like Chiquino. I thought he was putting a real graft and trying, but he's gone out on another loan. I think he'll be another one in the future that does make it through into the first team. But I think in terms of depth of squad, picking up injuries and things like that, we've got a stronger depth. Probably a little bit less quality in the starting 11, in terms of those central, that left back area in terms of the formation. But in terms of depth, you think of who's gone out, and with the players that we've bought in, Tommy Doyle we won't count. So the 6 players that we bought in, plus the 2 that are staying from the that have been out on loan. The squad depth is a lot stronger. We've got a really good bench. We've got, 5 subs. We can bring these subs on. Andre, who's the other one that was bought in, he is supposed to be a hell of a player. He's won everything in South America at the age of 23. He's supposed to be a really good player. The type of player that he's the sort of player that will sit in front of the defence, that's happy making tackles, that will win the ball and carry the ball up the field and then make those passes across. And I think that's probably where he's going to be utilised. I think you'll probably see the likes of Tommy Doyle, Mario Lemina, Joe Gomez might play a little bit further forward. But of course, again, they can be all interchanged as well, can't they? Very shame about Boubacar Traoré picking up his injury. I think he'd have gone out on loan. So look, we're going to bring on our next caller, who you will recognise, because I did invite him on tonight, but he was travelling back from his caravan. And let's hear what Cheerful Chris has to say.
Evening, everybody.
Good evening, Chris. Thank you for joining us. You made it back safe?
Yes. Always get back safe in the caravan, but it's been a long weekend, so couldn't join for the earlier session.
Let's just hear your take on it. I mean, you on everything you want to, whatever you want to say, how many points that you want to make. Let's make it now.
Let's look at the transfer window first. I agree with what everybody said. Really, I'll give you an analogy, Dave. If this is what I think of the transfer window, if Emma says to you, Dave, we're going to have spaghetti bolognese tonight, I want you to go down to Aldi's or Waitrose and get me the ingredients to make a meal, which is a football team in the analogy. Go and get me some mince and some pasta and some onions and some herbs or whatever else. Just say those 4 main ingredients. You got everything else. What's happened at our football club over the summer is you've gone to the shop and bought back smoked mackerel, some cheese and some lemonade.
And you know what? That would probably be what I would do.
And we've needed these ingredients to get our team to gel together. And it almost looks to me like we've just ended up saying, do you know what? Well, we'll take this Andre because it's a good price, and we did think about him once before we got Gomez, but he's available. Let's get him. It's a good deal, and we haven't put the funds into the team where we needed them, and O'Neill said that. He's kind
of inferred it, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed for him, because he's obviously not got the tools he thinks he needs to play this season.
Or as in his words, was expecting.
Yeah. Then if you then think we've got a director of football, sporting director, and he's aligned with Gary because that's what Gary's told us, then I'm going to ask the question, who's got these players? Because if he was aligned with Gary, these wouldn't be players he was looking at. It doesn't quite add up to me.
Well, they have been doing a lot of work in the Brazilian market, haven't they? The scouts have been over there. We're turning from Portuguese to Brazilian, so they've kind of turned the focus to the South American market, and that's where they're looking to get good value for money. And to be fair, all of the players that they have bought in from Brazil so far, Cunha, we've seen early signs from Pedro Lima, Joe Gomez, and this Andre. They all look good value and good quality.
I'm not saying that they're bad players, Dave, and I'm not saying they're not going to be good players for us. I just, in what we were trying, if he's so hell bent as he was saying on playing a back four, I don't know why we haven't got the players to play the back four. But
and I think
anyway, that's going over old ground.
Yeah,
really. The French lad, you mentioned about the French lad. So
yeah, you spoke to me about this because you're really impressed with him, aren't you?
So if you look at what's the job of a player in our back four, if we're playing a back four, essentially the first thing they've got to do is defend, and defending is all about anticipation, positioning, and strength. That's your three attributes you need as a defender. So ask yourself whether Totti has got those three attributes. He's probably got a bit of strength. His anticipation's awful, and his positioning's awful.
Do you think when you talk about Totti, because obviously he did come in and he did play out on the left, he can play left back. In terms of Totti, I think he's done all right for us, since he came back from Grass. Don't forget it was at Grasshoppers. It's been a very big learning curve. But he's got all of those attributes, but it's whether he's got the attributes at the top end of the Premier League, attributes that you need, because split seconds, like decision making, can make a big difference. And that's why you have people playing in League Two, Championship, whatever. It's all to do with that, like you said, the level of how they play. Is Totti Gomez quite the finished article at the moment?
No, he's still quite young, but we're trying to perform in a league, not just coach players on. That's what the reserves and under-21s are for. This is the big boys league. We've got to do it. If you look at the goal on Saturday that we conceded, yes, with zonal marking, Keith brought it up. There were two players responsible for the goal. Do you know they were? One was Totti, the other one was Aït-Nouri.
Yeah,
those are the two players that were in the zone that Woods was in and went to, and Totti didn't pick him up quick enough, which is why I got beat to the ball, and Aït-Nouri didn't run with him at all. He ran into the wrong position, and that's what happened with the goal. We just don't have people who are, I don't think, capable enough. If they're in the back five, as Keith says, that defense is a totally different.
However, can I just make a point there? From a corner, that's a set piece. That's not like open play. Whether you're a back five or a back four, that should defend that exactly the same. Surely.
Well, they're zonal marking, but they're not doing their job. They're not concentrating. They're not anticipating. The two.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the formation, is it?
No, but it's what I'm saying is that those players are not defensive minded. So you've got to pack. I think you've got to pack we've got to have that back five because we need extra body there. We haven't got the players to cover.
Okay.
So that with regard to the game, I
the
didn't.
French lad.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've watched, go back to him. Because like you've watched him a few times, you said, and
yeah,
I think a lot of people be really interested to know a little bit more about him.
I'm convinced, Dave, that if we carry on the way we are, he'll be playing in the team quite soon. He's strong. He's got pace. The biggest thing for me when I look at defenders is I watch where they stand, where they run, and where they move to. And he sees problems and he covers for the problems. He goes to problems. He makes moves in the right direction. He doesn't seem to be surprised by things. So you've got all of that. He also knocks an absolutely fantastic long ball to the wings. He's got a great range of passing on him, and he's fast.
So you said to me you think he'll be in our centre in our defence by Christmas. Are you still thinking?
I think so. Yeah, because we haven't signed anybody else. So okay. I mean, you know what we've got is we've got Santi Bueno. For the life of me, can't understand how he's not getting a run, a choice, a go, because against Burnley he was I thought he played very well, and I don't know. They just got to get out of this obsession with this back four, you know, okay. And this hybrid. When people mention hybrid, I think hybrid's a word for not having a clue. I just, it's not hybrid.
We've got over 700 watching live, which is amazing across the different platforms, which is absolutely fantastic. And I say, guys, if you do want to join in the chat on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. But make sure wherever you're watching, you hit the like button. Chris, we're going to come back. We're going to bring Lucas and Hoops back in a minute. But I do want to put the final video file on from our international fans for their thoughts, and then we can bring let's see if this is that New York Wolves Dave with his.
Hey Dave, David Neopolst here, coming to you from the beautiful city of Rome, here for a long weekend. And actually, really interesting historical point. There's a building over here, if you can see it. It's actually dates from a time before Villa won the European Cup. If you can imagine how old that is. Anyway, on to today. We drew with Forest. A little disappointing. I always think teams like Forest we should be beating, and beating fairly comfortably. But after the start of the season we've had, and given everything that's going on, I think the important thing today was not to lose and to improve on our performance against Chelsea in the second half, which actually wasn't a performance against Chelsea in the second half. So we came away with the point at a bit of a tough ground to go to, especially given the Morgan Gibbs White Nuno local rivals thing going on. So, not unhappy, not happy to be honest, but the first goal was terrible. You shouldn't be leaving Chris Wood unmarked on a corner. We can do better than that. We should be better than that. But then cracking goal from Bellegarde to get us back into it. And I think it was just a messy game, wasn't it? It was just kind of scrappy and kind of what you'd expect from a local derby. We had some chances. I think Cunha looked good. Strand Larsen looked good. I think having Dawson at the back is the game changer, because you need that wise old head on his shoulders to orchestrate everybody in defence. And I think that's what really made the difference today. He's not the fastest player, he's not the strongest player, but he knows how to run a defence, and that's what I think saved the game today. So we got a point, we're off the board, and moving on to the next one. Some great signings in the transfer window. A lot of midfield and forward attacking players. A little disappointing we didn't strengthen the defence, but then that's up to Gary to do what he can do with the players that he has. So all in all, a little disappointed we didn't beat them. I always feel like we should be beating teams like Forest, but we didn't lose. We stopped our losing streak, and on to the rest of the season. So up the Wolves.
So there's Dave at New York Wolves. He does seem to get around a bit, doesn't he? Doesn't he, Dave? Again, the same themes that seem to be coming up, which is quite interesting. wherever people are watching it. Guys, we're gonna come on to a little bit of light-heartedness in a sec. So Lucas, this will be your time to shine in a minute with the music. Chris, quickly, if you just want to make any points on the game, and then also kick off we've got a little thing tonight because Oasis are reforming. Your favourite music artist or song with a little bit of fun.
On the game, I don't think I could give it a 7 or a 6. I think we were at sea for quite large periods of the game. We were letting holes appear that Forest were exploiting. I think the fact that we got a draw says more about them than it does about us, to be honest. What I will say is it's nice to have a team that has got a goal in it. You can see we've got a goal in it and we're threatening, which is a change from having Nathan Fraser up front. So that was nice to see. They've got a point more than I thought they'd have this time this season.
Yeah,
Dave,
thank God. I am going to do my forfeit now.
Yeah, but we've got to sort this back out. If we don't, I think it's the key to us moving on.
Okay, right. We'll go with you first for the music artist to recommend for people to listen to. Your favourite or a time when you went to a concert or something like that.
Well, my favourite music artist is Chic. So I'm a Chic fan. I've seen not the original Chic because unfortunately the bass player from Chic died in playing in Japan in 1983 or something. A guy called Bernard Edwards, who is a renowned bass player, and some of the songs that him and Nile Rodgers have written for people like David Bowie, Madonna, Diana Ross, loads of people. It's amazing when you look at what they produced. So Chic's my favourite band. I've always got their music on my car. Been to see them live with Jerry Barnes, who's the replacement bass player. I play the bass guitar, so I like them. So yeah, very good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. Lucas, okay, you're probably going to baffle us here with some music. What music are you listening to at the moment?
I've got two bands and one normal singer that I've got on usually. So the first one's the favourite at the moment is Coldplay. After seeing the concert at Glastonbury, it was just special when they made everyone stop recording, and it was just the whole of Glastonbury singing "The Sky Full of Stars." I think second is Travis Scott. He's an American rapper. And then third is Oasis. Didn't really listen to any of the songs except from Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger, but I'm starting to like more of the songs, so I'm starting to listen to them.
Fantastic. Some good stuff there, man. I'm quite impressed, Lucas. Some really good shouts. Hoops.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when I had probably a little bit more hair on my head, I used to go to a fair few gigs, and talks of Oasis kind of, take me back because I was a bit of an indie kid. So Oasis, before that Stone Roses, Manic Street Preachers, Stereophonics. That was kind of my thing.
Blur as well. Have a bit of Blur.
Yeah, Blur. I've seen most of those bands, or at least remember, I think, seeing most of those. But then like now, to be honest, if you look at my playlist, it's a bit random. So I was brought up, my mum and dad love Motown and Northern Soul, so I was brought up with that. So I actually find myself playing that to my kids. So you can have Oasis, but I'll also play the Temptations as well. So it's a bit of a mix. So I do like a bit of Northern Soul and Motown, but yeah, I do like my guitar bands at heart as well.
Fantastic, good shouts there. Sooty, but you got some good crackers, ain't you?
I have seen loads of people live, Dave, and my music tastes quite eclectic, Dave. As we all know, football, music, and fashion go hand in hand, Dave. they just do. They link together. And as a young lad in the early 80s, it was the Specials and the Selector for me, the ska scene, and then it was sort of I was nuts on the Jam. I mean, Paul Weller is still a god to me. And then we sort of went into a rave scene, Dave, where we go to football. We started work on a YTS building site as a YTS at £27.50 a week in 1987, and the rave scene popped up, Dave, and we well, I can't remember much of it, to be honest.
I politely wasn't going to talk about these episodes.
Yeah, it was pretty good, Dave. You went into a dirty old warehouse in daylight, and you came out in daylight, and everything in between you pretty much forgot. And then but it was good. It was good, you know. You danced the night away and had a great time. And then the indie scene came in, and it was the Stone Roses, Charlatans, Oasis, and a band called James that really sort of started getting into my head. And I was lucky enough to see Oasis a few times from 85 onwards. And I'm really sorry to say this, kids, but it won't be the same. You'll never recapture what happened in the mid-90s with 4 or 5 young men from Manchester off a council estate that were full of attitude, full of cocaine, and full of trouble. That just won't be repeated, unfortunately. But I hope you all have a great time, because I won't be paying stupid prices, that's for certain.
Brilliant. Now listen, I'll give you a bit of mine. I've got to go. Noah, mate, Depeche Mode. I absolutely love Depeche Mode. Vince,
brilliant band.
Oh, love Depeche Mode, especially their older stuff, man. They're so cool. I absolutely love Madness. I've seen them 2 or 3 times. Absolutely brilliant. Always end with Night Boat to Cairo. Like a bit of ELO. Recently went with my school buddies to go and see Level 42 at the Halls. Something About You and all of that sort of stuff. Lessons in Love, fantastic. I've got quite a broad taste, right from like this, you know, everything. I just love music and stuff like that. Obviously, everyone will sing along to Wonderwall and stuff. I like my musicals as well, to be honest. I do like a bit of the old musicals, but like, yeah, that sort of 80s, 90s sort of era is just, fantastic. But like some of the modern stuff as well. There's still good music that goes around today.
Dave, I have to say, I'm a little bit weird. I've never really liked Oasis.
You know,
never really been my cup of tea. I like Blur, but Charlatans and people like that. That's the band I liked in that era. That I saw live lots of times was Happy Mondays.
Happy Mondays, yeah.
And I love Happy Mondays, but never really been into Oasis.
No, I used to like a bit of a horror as well. I liked that. So I like all sorts, but yeah, Depeche Mode, Madness, absolutely fantastic. I do like a little bit of ELO as well. So like very broad taste. Right, guys, we're going on to Q&A now to finish off on. But before you get on to that, I do want to talk about, if you don't mind, for just a couple of minutes, I do want to talk about the Content Creators Cup. This is, we've just hit £4,000 of our £5,000 target, which, I'm really proud of. We're aiming to raise over £1,000 for the Wolves Foundation, who do so much for so many people in and around the city. And, we've got the Old Gold Pack, we've got WCR FM, we've got the Wolf Pack, we've got the Wolves media team, ourselves, we've got the guys over at Fancast, we've got the guys over at Talking Wolves, Harry's lot over at the 77 Club, we've got Ryan Lester's Wolves Report, all of us coming together to play a 7-a-side tournament at Compton, at the Wolves training ground. So big thank you to Wolves for letting us use the training ground and to use Compton and the facilities there. And like, we've raised nearly £4,000. Now, I'm hoping that some of you can come. As you can see, people are buying tickets. If you want to come, on the day, there is only a limited number of tickets. We can have up to about 150, 200 people come and watch. We've already gone past like 50, 60 tickets already. And in the last week, they go like hotcakes. So if you do want to come, do like Nathan Hill has done here. You literally, if there's 3 of you, it's £5 a ticket. I think it's under 5s, under 6s are free anyway. So you've got like there, they literally put their names, hit the gift aid, and then we put your names on the security to be able to get in. Stephen Adams has bought one there. Matt Gold has bought one, has got there, but he hasn't put his number on. And then we've got loads of people that are making donations, like Keisha from made £100 donation. Julie's bought some tickets. We even had recently Simon N. I don't know who you are, but he donated 250 quid to the cause. Absolutely amazing. Keishan Singh, 50 quid. People buying the tickets and stuff like that. So look, if you can't go, a quid in, whatever it is, help us to get to that 5,000 target. If you can go, get a ticket. It's going to be a great day. It's all going to kick off. Start at Compton at 11 a.m. It kicks off. Our doors are open from around about 10:15, and it'll run. We've got 2 groups, a group A group and a group B. I think in our group we've got Fancast, we've got the foundation, we've got the media team. And we've got the 1877, and the other group, it's Old Gold Pack, Talking Wolves, and the Wolf Pack, the Wolves Report, and WCRFM. We're all literally playing 4 games. The top 4 out of each group will go through to the quarterfinals. Winner of Group 1 will play 4th place of Group B. 2 and 3, vice versa, semi-final, final. So, and there's going to be refreshments on the day. Emma's taking charge of that. You're also going to be able to follow it live because we've got a nice little. It's going to have its own little website, so you'll be able to, even if you can't go, you'll be able to tune in and actually watch the scores go in live. And if you're there on the day, you'll be able to go on a screen and see it all update. So it's all going to be really, really cool. We've got the guys from Creation Wolf who are behind organising all that technical stuff. I just wanted to shout that out. So look, get a ticket, come down and support. Whether it's Always Wolves, whether it's Fancast, or whoever, or all of us, come and give us a bit of atmosphere. I'm going to be playing. I'll be kicking a bag of wind about. Chris is going to be there on the day because he's running the floor for us, which I do appreciate. And
cobbling the floor, Dave. I won't be running anywhere. I'm still lifting from training.
It's at the bottom. We're gonna have. It's going to be great, and it's just going to be such a really good day, and it's all for a brilliant cause for the foundation. So I just wanted to give that a plug. Sorry for carrying on. But I'm really passionate about it, and we're gonna hit that 5,000 target, and that money is going to go towards the foundation being able to put on more things for children with disability, for people with mental health, for people suffering with dementia. They need the money to be able to keep these things going. So that's why we're doing it, and I'm really, really grateful for all the other channels and podcasts for supporting it and getting involved with the spirit of it. It's going to be a competition, but it's going to be played in a friendly spirit and stuff like that. So anyway, links in the description. Let me know if you're going to go. It starts at 11 a.m. But you'll be able to get in from 10:15. Yeah. And Rebecca's saying there is lift and disabled toilets available as well. So Rebecca's going to be out there helping on the day as part of the security. Fantastic. So any questions that you have for the team? Yes, for the team on the board here. Whilst you I'll give you a couple of minutes to fire any questions. just going to get some last thoughts going into the international break. We'll start with you, Hoops.
Yeah, I guess the international break for those that aren't going away, it gives a lot of the new players, an opportunity to bed in. There's been a lot of talk about system. We'll see how we respond post break. Another tough run of fixtures coming up. We've got Newcastle obviously at home, and they're looking good at the moment. So, yeah, I think it's very early days. At least to get a point on the board. Hopefully, those that do go away, we keep them fit. We get a little bit of luck with injuries this year, and that squad is as strong as it appears to be, and we can just start picking up some points.
Fantastic. Lucas?
I agree with Hoops. The international break time for the players that haven't been picked to gel the players also haven't been picked. Then giving the players that have been picked a great opportunity to show who they are and what club we are, and who they're representing.
Well said. Well said. And Lucas, you've been great tonight. Thank you ever so much for your contribution. Been really good.
No
Chris?
Well, Dave, international breaks have changed a little bit for me the last year or so. It's more about forgetting about Wolves and getting behind my country. So England are away at Ireland on the Saturday that Continental Creative Cup is on, and then we've got the first home game on Tuesday night against Finland. So I'll be down there with the Always Wolves flag with my good friend here by the side of me on the screen, and we'll be cheering on.
I do love when you guys go away with England and you see you on the telly with the. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is.
So yeah, that's a bit changed for me now, but hopefully O'Neill will get the time to think and reflect on the first 3 games, look at what anything we could have learned from it, and maybe get back to a back 5 and get things set up when we start next game when we come back from the break.
Fantastic. Sutty, final words.
Yeah, very much like Chris, Dave. It's international break. We tend to forget about Wolves and watch star-studded England side underperform at times, but it takes our mind off our club. Look, I want Gary O'Neill to succeed here, Dave. I really like Gary O'Neill. He has had a lot of money thrown at him in this transfer window, but as we've all agreed on here, we're not quite sure if he's using the tools he's been given in the correct manner. And I believe if he does do that, we will fly up at the division. But then again, he may persevere with it, Dave, and prove every single one of us wrong, and we could go even higher up the league. It's all a guessing game at the end of the day, but we can only say what we feel on here. It's an opinions thing. So anybody in the comments that doesn't agree with what I say or what anybody else says, it's my opinion. I'll own it, and you're fully entitled to your opinion too.
Yeah, I just said, what formation would you actually play?
Me personally,
yeah,
it would be a 5 at the back, Dave. A 5-3-2.
A 5-3-2. Just having a look at any other questions. Scott, I think we've covered this off. Do we need strength in other area? I think we've covered that off in the defence, probably. That sort of an extra centre back and a left back. And UK said, Dave, if you score, what's your celebration going to be? Well, I did score last year, and it was a header at the back post. And I think I was more in shock that I'd scored an header than anything else. And my celebration was like shock. But I need to come up with one this year. So if you've got any suggestions, if I do score, send some video or send a comments to any of our socials, to the Facebook page, DMs, to the Instagram, to the X, whatever, or leave in the comments section below what you think the celebration is, and I'll try and if I do score, I'll try and do that. Andy says we need the robot, like the crouch robot. Yeah, that could work. You know, that could work. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, yeah, someone else saying do the robot celebration. Oh, right, okay. I used to be able to do a robot as well.
Would you call yours the Dobot, Dave?
I don't know. It could be, or it could be the classic bully aeroplane celebration, the Kuna celebration. Yeah. Any suggestions? Put them in the comment. The most popular one in the comments that are put below. The most popular one, I will attempt to. I'll attempt to do it if I score. So it's a big if in it, but I do play up front, so I'll do my best. What's he doing? Is that Chris again? What is he like? You're like a teenager, ain't you, Chris?
Can't help it.
Yeah, you're all right, mate. Listen, you know, I ain't gonna do your forfeit anymore. Anyway, I'll catch you when I see you. I tell you. To be honest, we did do a little bit of we did do a training session, getting all the lads together. Lucas, you came to that as well, didn't you? You come to chip in and have a go because your brother Lewis is playing, and we did a training session to get everyone together because you know people live different places. We did that the other week. Very nice, fun evening. Chris, who hadn't played for how many years, mate?
I think it was 1996 the last time I played football or even kicked a football.
Because you used to play a decent level, and you turned up with your boots on, and you were absolutely cream crackered by the end of the warm ups.
Yeah, the warm ups did me. Well, I mean, it was all professional. I was expecting you just kick the ball about, and we were doing bloody bleep tests for the first 10 minutes. I was bleeping from all ends, to be honest. It
wasn't quite a bleep test. It was just like run out
I
there.
was bleeping.
That thing where you go thingy, just loosening up, wasn't it? So don't pull for thingy. But you did go in goal, and you did a good. And then you went in goal. You did all right in the goal as well for the first half, but the second half of the
my knee had gone.
Yeah, but it was good fun, mate. It was good fun, and I think you quite enjoyed it anyway. Listen, guys. Thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. We had so many join. We really had a really good session tonight. And as I say, the content, the internationals are on. The Content Creators Cup is at the weekend. Support if you can. Come down and watch if you can. It'd be amazing to see some of you come down and cheer all the different sides on and everything. And there will be food. There's going to be hot drinks. There's going to be cake. There's going to be hopefully a raffle as well. And very, very soon, I will tell you, but just give you a heads up. I've got a fully signed shirt from this year, the new kit signed. Just got to get it all framed up, and we're going to put that out to auction. And it's signed by all the players, and you can't get many of them at the moment.
Is it a Sudo shirt, Dave?
It's the new kit. Yeah, don't you go on about
I'm not going to bid on it then. Somebody else can have a go.
Well, it's all for charity. It's for charity. You haven't got to wear it. It's for charity. Okay? You're a charitable person. But, we're going to get that framed up, so that'll be up as well. But, thank you ever so much for joining. Thanks to Hoops, Lucas, Cheerful Chris, who came on, Sooty, Scott, that popped on as well, all the international fans, and, of course, all of you guys in the chat. It's been a great chat tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. And this will go out on the podcast in the morning, and a lot of you will be able to watch it on and catch up as well. And Sooty, you'll be giving us your judgment after 10 games, is what he said. So we've got 7 more to go. And do you know what, mate? We'll really know where we're at after those 10 games. Yeah. And it's going to be an interesting, but this back 4, back 5, central defense, left back thing, I think this is a topic that's going to define the season, and I hope it defines it in the trust in the gaffer, I guess, because he sees them every day. But as you say, if it don't work out, Sooty, sadly he might be gone. But let's hope that isn't the case, because I do like yourself. I think Gary O'Neill is really invested, and let's hope this season is a success and we can win the FA Cup. That'd be nice. Or the Carabao. Wouldn't that be nice? Right, guys, we're off. From all of us to all of you, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
All the best.